Hello and welcome back to Simuldub Saints, your guide to seasonal anime dubs. I'm your host, Blaziken, and with me as always is my trusty co-host.
Hello, I am Archangel, lover of cat girls.
You've been listening to our theme song, Wherever I Go, from friend of the podcast, Ampren. Please check out their awesome music, link in the description.
And today's episode has been sponsored by the delightful but kind of quirky folks over at Aperture Science. More about them at the end.
Indeed, thank you, Aperture Science. Well, today's a little bit of a different episode because we're actually pre-recording this. I mean, we always pre-record this, but we're literally recording this the day after we recorded the last episode because Archangel's going to be busy next week.
Yep, I am a World War II reenactor, and I am going to be down back in 1944 for quite a while, and when I get back, I'll be in no shape to talk to anybody.
So if you're looking for him, go to 1944, everyone.
Yeah, specifically actually, there's no point saying because it'll be over by the time this comes out.
Aha! Well, I would say in the news, we got some news, but I'm gonna have to hand that segment off to Future Me. Take it away, Future LK. Thank you very much, Past LK. Hello, everyone. It's Present LK, or Future LK if you're listening to this in the past. Well, as you all may have noticed, we've been running a little bit behind. That's on me. I've been having some issues keeping up. So, the first piece of news is Laser Kid is behind on editing. Woo! But that's just, us here at Simuldub Saints. On a much larger note, the biggest piece of news, and I'm sure you've all already heard this, you probably don't need me to tell you, but we have lost an industry great. Although they've kind of just been on life support for the last decade or so, Gainax has sadly left us. They have gone bankrupt. Creators of amazing stuff all over, although they are succeeded by their children in Studio Kara and Studio Trigger. Studio Kara being Hideaki Anno's venture, which actually does more or less run Evangelion these days. So if you're a Evangelion fan, that's still a thing. And Studio Trigger's largely the guys behind Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann! And they're still at it themselves. So there's sadness, but they haven't really done anything in a while. So, unfortunate, but let's pour one out for Gainax. They have sadly left us. But beyond that, the biggest piece of news is the announcement of Spy Family Season 3, which has been, of course, officially announced. No release date, but it's coming! Happy day. We love Spy Family around here. Happy to see more of it. And Spy Family's a good time. Also, I will actually be attending Anime Expo as part of my duties with Toonami Faithful, so while I'm primarily there for Toonami information, if I see anything that is Simuldub of interest, I'll make sure to let everybody know when I get back. I'm not sure if we're going to pre-record again for my disappearance that time, or if we'll just have an off week. We'll definitely let you guys know when we get closer to Anime Expo. But that's it for news. Take it back, Past LK! Ah yes, fascinating stuff, Future LK. Pity that Sailor Moon Dragon Ball Z crossover will be Japan only, though. Gosh.
Yeah, that was a cool news segment. I'm sorry I missed it.
Me too. I'm excited to get the temporal alignment happening, to learn more.
All right.
Well, we're here to talk about Helck!
It's a Helck of a show, everybody.
This one has been a big hit for our group that we watch with. It's just so much fun. But I suppose we should...
It's simple in a good way, but when it decides to stop being silly and throw emotional punches, it hits hard.
It really, really knows how to hit hard. That's actually probably why I love it so much, because I love that combination of silly, 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 reminds me a lot of Slayers in that way.
Yeah, that's an apt comparison. It's very old school in that way, yeah.
Absolutely. But I suppose we should go and go into the basic idea of the story.
Okay, so basically, the Demon Lord is dead,
Ding
and they
dong, the
need
demon
to.
lord's dead. The demon lord is dead. Except for this is bad.
Yeah, because now they need to choose a new one. So there's the Demon Realm, which is not a great place, but it's where the demons live, and humans can't really survive there. They can't really survive in the human realm, if I recall correctly. And if I correct me if
They
I'm
can
wrong before
survive in
we
the
go
human
on.
realm.
Okay,
They're just amazed that it can be done so easily.
yeah, and if I recall correctly, at least at this point, I don't know about in the past, but at this point, the demons pretty much just want to be left alone.
It does appear to be the case, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that was the case always in the past to provoke the reaction that humans currently have, which we'll get to. But at the moment, they just kind of want to do their own thing. And so, among the many very powerful and interesting hopefuls who show up to try out to be Demon Lord, is a big guy who looks like he stepped right out of somewhere between Contra and Golden Axe, named Helck.
Who is the human?
Yep. And is incredibly, incredibly OP, and doesn't seem very fond of humans, and seems very
No,
enthusiastic about being the Demon Lord so he can wipe out all the humans, or at least not have to deal with them.
indeed. And our titular Helk is voiced by Andrew Love. Aka Inu in One Piece. But to counter that amount of horribleness, he's also the dadliest of dads in Akio Furukawa in Clannad.
Indeed.
That actually fits Helk pretty well. He's got one of the best characters and worst characters under his belt, and Helk kind of has that inner darkness as we'll get into later. But he's just a
Yeah.
good guy.
Yeah. He's certainly got some emotional baggage.
Yes,
So, which again we'll get to.
indeed. But of course, him being a human raises all of the alarm bells of one of the people running this contest, if you will, to become the next demon lord. A demon noble named Vermilio, voiced by Kira Vincent Davis. In Fairy Tale, and Osaka in Azumanga Daioh. Oh god, I love
Yeah.
this character. Vermilio is just a lot of fun. She gets mad and
Yeah.
blows things up. It's like an evil Lena inverse.
Sort of. She is.
I wouldn't say evil though.
I get the sense of a very overstressed executive who is actually trying.
Yes,
Um,
I would agree. Stress is
but
definitely
yes,
really getting to
She
her.
does throw. There are certain parallels to Lena in that she has a short temper and she likes to throw fire around.
Indeed. Well, there are three other major contestants in this situation. We have Kenros, voiced by Jack Stansbury, Ragna in Ragna Crimson, and Aquamarine in Oshino Ko. And he's really fast. And he's good buddies with Helk. Doesn't even care that he's human. He's like,
He's very cheerful and he's just a great guy.
he
He's the
is a
sort of
great
person
guy.
who's fun to have around.
He's a lot of the comic relief in the situations at times. We have the more serious Hyura, voiced by Brianna Roberts. That's Tomoe in Tsukumichi and Maranjo in Ranking of Kings. Hyura's taking this very seriously, unlike Kenros, and she is, like Vermilio, very suspicious of Helk.
Yeah, which don't blame them.
No, I don't blame him at all. In their position, I'd be suspicious too. I mean, it's a little weird. A human wants to be the Demon King.
Yeah, and moreover, looks like they might pull it off. What are we gonna do?
Yep. And then we've got Dorsh, or Dorsha, I can't remember how they say the name, but
Yeah,
that's the last of the contestants. Big muscly dude like Hulk, but he's more like calm and introspective. And I get like
he's
Eastern
very
monk.
calm. He's very calm.
He's very calm. It's like what if we got Mashal in here? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little different than that.
It's a
Yeah,
little
same
different.
idea.
Well, he's voiced by Michael Ronsky. That's Megashima Tosuke in Food Wars. Season 3 on, I haven't actually met that character yet. What I do know, the Tosuke family, that's a big deal. And Sykes Charluke in Ragnar Crimson. Having watched Ragnar Crimson, I don't even remember this character. And I will say, Michael appears to be a relative newcomer, but I gotta say, he's throwing just amazing, throwing the ball out of the park with this character.
Hmm.
I mean, they are all doing really, really well. I don't mean to say that anyone else isn't, because wow, everybody.
And so Vermilio and company, including her right hand, I suppose we should say, is
Attendant
a walrus-looking guy named Han. So I think
and
he's like another senior bureaucrat,
I get the same
but
feeling, but that's voiced by John
subordinate to
Swayze,
her.
which
Yeah.
all for one in My Hero Academia, and Raphael Oriana in Eminence and Shadow. Rest in peace, Raphael Oriana. Oh God, having yourself mind controlled by Perv Asshead of all people. That
The
sucks.
indignity.
Absolutely. But I gotta say, John Swayze, like everybody else, doing really well. Hone is actually really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he's adorable. Because again, he's just trying to do his job as he sees it and take care of everybody in the demon realm.
Indeed.
And the third senior bureaucrat, functionary, noble something is Azudra.
Who has got his butt kicked at his healing.
And healing slowly because he keeps leaping out of bed and tearing open his
Oh,
bandages and
Barbie
stuff.
Jeremy, say hello to me, and then he gets blown up. I told you to stop saying that.
He has a certain relationship with Vermilio, yes. Very it's hard to explain. You've got to see it.
But yeah, this is voiced by Joe Daniels, Kongwing, and ya boy Kongwing, and Katsura and Gintama, the very final. I believe he's also Katsura in either the movie or the show. I can't remember which one, but no, Joe Daniels is great.
Yeah. Does a fantastic. He's having way too much fun with this character.
Azudra, he's having a lot of fun, and it carries into the character, and it's very magnetic personality.
Yeah, because the character I think is being silly on purpose. Because then later, when he gets serious,
it's like, oh, reminds me of the main character.
Oh shit!
Huh?
I'm just saying, oh shit!
Oh shit! It reminds me of the leader of the Bofurine in Windbreaker. Very chill, very nice, very kind, very sweet. Oh shit, he's mad.
I think at one point he actually says he's like, I'm Asudra something, and you are fucked, or something like that.
Something like that. Yes.
I think he literally said that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember that line, but that sounds like
it was an episode ender, if I recall correctly.
That sounds about right for him. So, the last of the supporting hero cast, well, not the last of, but the last of her for a minute, would be Asta. She's kind of a spy character. She's looking into what the hell is going on because the human kingdom is being sus as hell. Voiced by Kara Greenberg. That's Sanai Furukawa in Clannad. That's Nagisa's mom. We got both the mom and the dad.
And I think you missed Ista, her twin sister.
Oh gosh, okay. So Ista is voiced by Annie Wilde, who's very prolific, most recently in Ragnar Crimson as Chimera, but also Beta in Eminence and Shadow. Lots of other characters. So, main character in Executioner Way of Life, Minot. Definitely a voice actress to watch, and Annie Wilde does a great job in all of those roles, honestly, including this one.
Yep, and these sisters are, I think they're literal twins, and their power, aside from just being very generally capable, is as long as the two of them are both drinking coffee, they can communicate telepathically no matter how far away they are. So Asta goes out to see what's going on, and Ista stays with Azudra and Han and the others to act as her relay point.
Indeed. So while we've got all of this research going on, we've got a tournament, sort of, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, how else you select Demon Lord?
Indeed. Well, you've got Rococo being the announcer lady, reminding me a lot of someone in Yu Hakusho. She is voiced by Carly Hawk, most recently Hesela in Ragnar Crimson, but also now Saratsuka in Food Wars: The Third Plate. Well, and the second plate, for that matter. And the first, I'm just done. Just Food Wars. In all of the plates of Food Wars, except for later ones, apparently. But yeah, no, she's also a lot of fun to watch and just listen to. I mean, this whole cast, this entire dub cast,
Oh yeah.
whether we go into a name, whether we go into it or not, all of these voice actors are amazing. They're putting everything into this production, and I definitely appreciate it.
Right. So as they get into the tournament, Vermilio and primarily is trying to specifically make Helck lose.
And it just doesn't work. What's hilarious is at first Home's like, yes, I will help, and eventually it's like, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. And he keeps getting exploded.
Yep.
Oh, God,
And
poor
Helck
Hone.
seems completely oblivious because he's just that awesome, and seems like a very nice person.
He does.
You know, just in general. I mean, not just to the divas of the tournament. Just in general, he's a very nice person.
I definitely agree. We see some of that later. And speaking of later, when we get to the final round, they get to go recapture the demon castle, which is being occupied by the humans. But there's some interesting mystery around human towns. All the humans are missing.
Yeah, it's kind of sus.
Incredibly sus. But the humans in the castle, they've all got wings. And they're flying around, and they're being an absolute menace. So, in order to deal with this, we send the prospective top 3 from our tournament, which would be, actually top 4, excuse me, which would be Helck, Kenros, Hura, and Dorsha. And they gotta go basically clean up the house. Go take out the Wing Knights.
Ostensibly to both observe the test and cover them if they need it, they are sent an escort who is Vermilio, but because she needs to go undercover, she adopts the incredibly covert name of Anne from Management.
Anne from Management! The only one who actually recognizes her is Hura. Everyone else is like, oh, okay, hey, Anne from Management, how you doing?
Yep, they don't care.
They don't even notice. It's completely just like, all right, cool. Things get pretty crazy though, because they don't know the human knights are the winged knights are humans until they go to that castle. Yeah. And then they learn because one of them is a former friend of Helck's, a man named Adil, who says he's barely held on to his humanity, his mind. Most of them haven't, interestingly. But he's still an enemy. Helck definitely fights him, but he doesn't want to kill him. Apparently, he trained him how to use a sword in the first place. And this convinces Vermilio that Helck is the bad guy she thinks he is. But things get interesting because when Adil loses and isn't killed, one of the winged warriors just kills him on the spot.
The whole situation with the humans is really fucked up.
Yeah. Well, some of those humans would be Zeruzion by Ty Mahani, Hereo, voiced by James Marler, and I can't pronounce that name. What the?
Gaurlul?
Gaurlul, voiced by Joe P. But they're more than a little crazy.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, these ones can still talk, and they won't shut up.
Especially Hario, because that guy, I was just looking at these people, that guy just does not know how to shut the heck up. I gotta say, again, amazing voice work all around.
Oh, yeah. But it's just like, shut up to the character.
Yeah. No, I completely get it. Things get interesting in that battlefield, though, because they end up underground after Helck punches the ground, because Helck is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's a teleport gate down there, and it's...
Yeah, I think it was actually a trap. So
that might be right. I could be misremembering that.
Yeah, something happened, and basically Helck and or Vermilio winds up getting sucked into this teleporter. Helck tries to grab her, and they both get teleported off to who knows where.
That's the fun of it. And that's actually a lot of this season is we got to get back.
And meanwhile, while our two aces are off, goodness knows where, everybody else, the B cast, as we think of them, meaning Azudra being in charge and his cronies, Han, Asta, Ista, and the other three finalists, Kenros, Hura, and Dorsha, are trying to hold off the rampaging humans.
And yes, and it's quite interesting. We actually end up meeting they don't, but we get to see the Human King, whatever the heck that thing is. I don't know how that counts as human.
I'm pretty sure it used to be their literal king, but
Probably.
apparently he turned himself, and then in turn, all the other humans turned them from who's into what's, is the simplest way I can explain it.
Indeed. Voiced by David Wald. That's Ash Dahl, the detective guy in Metallic Rouge. And speaking of metallic, he's Tetsu in My Hero Academia. But I gotta say, I'm used to him being heroic, but he does a good job of being creepy, because, oh my god, this guy is creepy. But it turns out, when you kill one of the Wing Knights, they just respawn and they get stronger. Saiyan's Zenkai boost.
Yeah, and it looks like that from what they've said, it looks like the king is their respawn point and anchor, so it looks like they're gonna have to take him out before they can take all the others out.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a tragedy that's like they're so obsessed with destroying the demons that it seemed to have, as far as we can tell, eliminated humanity, because the only actual person we've met who's arguably still human is Helck, and he wasn't normal to begin with. So
yeah, I'm gonna go out and say it. These humans act more demonic than the demons do. The demons act
yeah,
like humans, and the humans are acting like demons. It's an interesting reversal, honestly.
yeah, I forget whose quote this is, but as soon as you decide that all means are permissible to destroy an evil, you become indistinguishable from the evil you're trying to destroy.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Is the quote. I forget who said it, but
I think that's a good point, and that's
Mhm.
clearly what's going on here.
Yeah, it's very much a cautionary tale and an interesting plot device. And for them to be like this, I'm pretty sure it's possible that it's just they are different, therefore we must destroy them. But I'm pretty sure, especially how these demons tend to be, I'm pretty sure they ran roughshod across human lands in the past.
Oh, I'm sure they
Probably
must
a
have.
lot.
I mean, we had
Probably
a
a
literal demon lord that had to be defeated by a hero, which was actually Helk's brother.
Yeah.
You don't need a hero to save humanity if the demons aren't being bad. So clearly, recently, the demons were more invasive.
Right. But it's just we're destroying the village to save it. To borrow
Well, I mean, literally, because that village the villages do seem to be empty.
Right.
We don't know this, but my theory is this power, these winged knights, and the reason I feel like this came at the cost of the civilians.
Oh yeah.
Like, this magic is being powered by the death or the souls of their civilians they were supposed to be
either
protecting.
that or they all fled, or some combination thereof. But we have not seen any normal humans yet.
No, we have not. Meanwhile, Helck and Vermilio are stuck together hilariously as they have to deal with each other. Helck still doesn't know she's Vermilio, and from management.
Yep.
And Helck is Helck. He
is a perfect gentleman.
Absolutely. They end up on this very strange island and meet a lot of interesting creatures.
Yeah, there's a village and a tribe that's there, and they're
idiots.
They're delightfully idiotic people.
They're absolutely delightful idiots.
I would love to live with these people.
You would.
Yeah, I mean, I'd miss the internet, but it's just, they're just very nice people, kind of doofy. It's like, if there were any threats around, they wouldn't last a day, but there aren't. And so these delightful, silly people.
Indeed.
And I think it helps that there's a a witch that lives on the island who I think is keeping them all safe.
Yes, I would agree with that, although she does not want to deal with their bullshit anymore, so she put up a little barrier and be like, nope, none of that
Yep,
crap.
I
I'll
live
come
up
down
on
and
the
see you.
mountain. Yeah, I live up on the mountain. Leave me alone.
I'll come see you every once in a while. I'll come down. You guys stop pestering me, which I don't blame her because they're kind of annoying. They're
Oh yeah.
sweet. They're nice. They're really dumb and annoying at times, though.
Oh yeah. And one of these villagers in particular didn't just seem like anybody else at first. Named Pee-wee, who is a fluffy, like waist height on a petite female, meaning Vermilio, um, fluffy chicken thing. It's a little birdie. And this little round fluffy birdie. Looks like Angry Birds, but not angry.
Yep, and that will be our last major character, Pee-wee, voiced
Yep.
by Jessica Boone. That's Chio from Mazumanga Daioh, and Asmaria and Chrono Crusade. These are also in more recent stuff as well, but holy cow, some classic roles here. It's good to hear her again.
And she absolutely knocks it out of the park with Pee-wee,
Oh,
who's
Pee-wee's
basically
amazing.
just a adorable child, essentially. I think it might be a literal child for
It
its
does
species.
strike me that way. By the way, the witch is voiced by Shelley Colleen Black, who is Khalifa in One Piece, and Najenda in Akame ga Kill.
Right.
And that
And
witch,
she looks an awful lot like Vermilio, so
an
we've got
awful
several
lot
different
like Vermilio.
yeah, we've got several different theories. We'll leave you to come up with your own, and we'll see if we ever get any answers who's right.
Indeed. But the witch tells her, hey, get yourself I don't know what else to call this thing other than a derp dog.
The
I mean, it
like
has a real name, which is
if you
a
took
course
the
tag,
Loch
but
Ness monster and made like a totally derpy cute plushie out of it.
yeah. Who is actually voiced by Kyle Jones. I love that they got an English voice actor for this for the Derp Dog
Oh yeah.
for Kyle Jones here. Great job, Kyle Jones. You did amazing on this.
Yeah.
I love it. Not even the first dog this guy's voiced. Sable the dog in My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. And also Doggy in The Demon Girl. And so you clearly know what you're doing. I mean, there's also plenty of other actual major roles here, but
Hey, there's
I
nothing
just
wrong
think
with
this,
having a specialty.
I'm just focusing on dogs because this is a dog.
So I kind of,
You make no
but yeah,
mistake, it's a dog.
there's a big band of mist that like messes with you between this island and the mainland, but this critter migrates back and forth, and so if you can catch one, it will basically tow your boat through the mist. And so Helck and Vermilio, with a good bit of help, put together a crude little boat, and Pee-wee stows away with them, apparently on the witch's instructions.
And the witch
Um,
leaves a letter for Vermilio, basically like, hey, you can rely on help, but be careful of the darkness inside him. You got to be careful about that. Also, Pee Wee will help. You just rub his belly, you'll feel just fine.
yep, and he's a lot more resilient than he appears.
Indeed. This letter strikes me as some she knows more than she's telling us.
Oh, totally. So theories range between her being Vermilio's mom to being Vermilio's future self to goodness knows what.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I hope we learn more. But the last real thing that we've had happen in the dub as we record this in the crazy past of a week ago. That means there's an episode that's come out dubbed since we've recorded this. And if you watched it in subtitle, the whole thing's already been watched for you. So this is the Simuldub saints though. So we're only where the dub is as of us recording this a week ago. But the
Yep.
last real thing they have is they finally made landfall. And they, of course, run into trouble as soon as they do. This poor tribe of people have been enslaved by another tribe, people who had been fine, but suddenly their king got really powerful.
Yeah, wish brand Genghis Khan.
Yeah, Wishbone Genghis Khan's right.
Total loser who's like, I've got some power and I'm going to be obsessed with it because I have nothing else to do with my life.
Yeah, well, he tries to recruit these poor people into his army, a threat of death if they don't. Helck and Vermillion have had about enough of that and get involved. This king guy thinks he's beaten Helck. He hasn't, and yeah, sucks to be you, King Toffman.
Yeah, there's this thing where every time somebody thinks Helck is in trouble or disappeared or
He's
whatever.
just
I mean, even
fine.
before they made landfall, they got attacked by a kraken, and so Helck is like, get the boat to shore. I'll deal with this, and he jumps onto the Kraken, starts punching it. It grabs him, goes under the water, and Pee Wee and Anne for a minute think he's dead. They make landfall, and so and Vermilio's having a meltdown. It's like, oh my god, why are you so stupid? And Helck's standing there with a welcome sign, and Pee Wee notices right away and goes to hug him. And it takes Vermilio a minute, and when she does notice, she sets the sign on fire.
Yeah.
So she's trying to sort out who he is, what he is, and how she should feel about it. It's all delightfully complicated.
Indeed. Well, that leads us to the end of what we've been able to watch dubbed so far. Helck is just delightful. It's a
Yes.
lot of fun to watch because it's manically silly. It stings your heart when it needs to, and it does so effectively. It's a nice combo. It's like Slayers. It also reminds me a little bit of Gintama. Not necessarily because Gintama gets a lot sillier than Helck does. But when Gintama gets serious, it gets serious. And so this reminds me of that a little bit. And we even have some Gintama voice actors in here, which helps.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just not. It's a combo that works for me because if a show can make you laugh, that'll get its way into your heart. And then once it's made you laugh, and then it makes you cry, it feels real because it's like, oh god, I love these people. They made me laugh. Oh, they're going through trouble, and it really does hit. Plus, you can't help but love the goofy dumbass that is Helck. He's too lovable.
Yeah. Well, what I want is for somebody to license this IP and make a modern take on Golden Axe with these characters.
I would love a Helck video game like that.
It is crying out for that.
That would be amazing. But yeah, I guess that's it for Helck.
Yep, there's not much else to say except go watch it.
Seriously, if you got here without watching it, I don't know what to tell you, but go watch it.
Okay, so this episode of the Simuldub Saints has been kindly sponsored by Aperture Science. Since 1947, Aperture Science has provided discretion and excellence in both fundamental and applied scientific research for the US government and numerous related organizations.
This explains a lot about Boeing.
I don't know who those organizations are, and you'd be smart not to ask. You know, the field. Unlike certain other institutions, which shall remain nameless, Aperture Science is lean, efficient, and effective in its work. Don't dump the taxpayer money entrusted to you down some hole in the desert. Choose Aperture Science for your next contract requirement.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Aperture Science. Can I get a portal gun? That's all I really need.
Please don't assassinate me along with him. I know nothing about any such project.
The cake is the cake. They promised me cake, Ark. They promised me cake.
You know too much. Acquiring new test subject, Laser Kid.
I'm getting cake.
Yep. And grief counseling. All
Great
right.
counseling.
Yeah, well, yes, cake and grief counseling will be provided after the session.
Excellent. Looking forward to that cake. Tasty. Well, that about does it for the Simuldub Saints. So, Ark, outside of Oscar the Grouch's Trash Can and World War II, where can people find you?
If you really need to get a hold of me, contact LaserKid. I don't do social media.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at LaserKidPrime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. Just beware, I'm not as active over there. And you can indeed find the Simuldub Saints on Twitter at Simuldub Saints. And there's also a Facebook group for Simuldub Saints. We post updates when we update all over those places, so feel free to look it out. You can also find the Simuldub Saints either here on YouTube if you're watching on our primary feed. You can also find our audio podcast over on Spotify and several other services that Spotify helps push it out to if you're more into just listening instead of watching those silly video bits I throw in. So check us out wherever. And until next time, see you later.
した歯車がかなぐる声で叫んでいる火花を散らす運命燃え上がる隙を伺うみたいやばいカード引き当てたピンチの時こそチャンスだまだ諦めてなんかない最後まで立つ者が勝者だ微笑みかける悪魔と手を取り合って踊ろう